Well, welcome to another edition of Bolton In, all thanks to the friendly team at Palmerbet, Adam McGrath and Shane Anderson, all the way from different parts of the world. As I say, a very good afternoon and a good morning to both you guys. I'll start with you, Shane. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, really well, Matty. Good to be with you once again, Adam, as well. Looking forward to this weekend of racing. We've got plenty to talk about with so much Group 1 action and also a few programming challenges that we're faced with trying to come out with some selections. But yeah, excited by this weekend. Should be a great weekend of racing.
It's going to be a ripper. Adam, same thing, mate. A couple of dual nominations, which make it a little bit difficult at times, doesn't it?
Oh, it makes it a little bit difficult. Certainly hard to, do a speed map, analyse a race, look at pricing when you do have these horses double nom. And as you've just heard, Shane had the same issue with me. So it's a couple of races where I've got two best bets because who knows which way they're going to go. So it is a little bit frustrating, but we'll deal with it and hopefully we can still find the winner.
Hey, let's have a look back at last weekend. All-Star Mile, of course. Pride of Jenny gets the job done against the champ, Mr. Brightside. I want to talk to both of you boys here in regards to all the fanfare, all the hoo-ha in regards to the ride on Mr. Brightside. I'm going to start with you, Ed. You're shaking the head, mate. I must admit, I was absolutely gobsmacked when I started seeing this. Owners are going to take a vote and all this kind of stuff. Seriously, sometimes you just get beaten, don't you?
I think Shane's going to maybe tee off on the programming. This isn't what I'm teeing off. Is Willow the most harshly treated jockey? Like, How many wins did he do? Giga kick, he did one bad one, kicked off immediately. Then how many times did he ring Mr. Brightside perfect? And apparently he got one wrong, which I don't think he did at all. I think the speed map happened exactly how we discussed it was going to happen. And the horse ran on really well to second. I'm amazed that people have come for him. I just watched it again before coming on here because I thought, if I'm going to tee off, I should maybe have another look. And I went, I don't know what people are looking at. We talked about it last week. I think Mr. Brightside's a better horse than Pride of Jenny, but was always potential of getting back, always potential of being caught wide, and always potential of running on into second, and that's exactly what happened. So I thought the criticism was pretty unfair and probably people talking through their pocket. I know that Shane tipped Mr. Brightside, but he's not someone who talked through his pocket. So what do you make of the ride, Shane?
Yeah, Adam, well summed up. I thought it was a fine ride. Like, it just didn't go the way that a lot of people had hoped. That's the challenge in a race like that, where Mr. Brightside was drawn where he was. And you've got this tearaway, highly efficient, economical front runner in Pride of Jenny, who, to your point, Adam, I would have said last week going into this show, I thought Mr. Brightside was a better horse than Pride of Jenny. After last weekend, I'm not convinced that's the case anymore. He's just got this wonderfully consistent record over many seasons, Mr. Brightside. There aren't many horses that can do what Pride of Jenny did last week, and she's now done it on numerous occasions. In hindsight, she was vulnerable probably first up in the yaw when she was touched off by Mr. Brightside. But that relentless, high-pace, high-pressure ability that she has, it's a sight to behold. But to the point of, was it a poor ride by Craig Williams? I don't necessarily think it was a poor ride. I think Willow, I love him. I'm not saying anything negative about him. I think he's a fantastic jockey. What he is somewhat unique in that when he sees an opportunity, and he is quite outspoken at times, particularly when he's assessing races, he does a lot of work, he does a lot of form analysis about races. So quite often, when he gets it right, he's looked like an amazing genius and he gets all the accolades. When things don't often go his way, the punters like to sort of rant and rave and get stuck into him. I'd always have Craig Williams in my top 3 or 4 jockeys to choose from, particularly in a Group 1 race. His record says that. But I think he's a hiding to nothing on occasions, Craig, because it's easy pickings for a lot of the punting fan base because of the uniqueness. He does not necessarily just stick to a speed map. He looks for the opportunities. If a race is going in a particular way and so on, he'll try and take advantage of it. Now, things didn't go to plan for Mr. Brightside last weekend. Did he lose any admirers? I don't think so. I think it just showed where he's at and his ability against a horse like Pride of Jenny, who just drags them all out of their comfort zone.
Do you reckon, boys, seriously, like, is it getting to a point, though, where, if you're on a favourite, a hot pot in a feature race, in a Group 1 race, the heat is just coming, isn't it? Like if you get beaten, and especially, when you're a horse that gets back and runs on, like you need a hell of a lot to go your way, even if you're running in a maiden, if you know what I mean, like it's just how it is. But I just can't believe that, everything's getting questioned, isn't it? Like after every ride, especially in these feature races, the spotlight is well and truly on every single jock, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think social media has made it the case now, hasn't it, Matty? I mean, it's not horse racing, it's AFL, it's NRL, it's any sport, anything you do. There's a lot of experts now that have got some big thumbs and some strong thumbs and like to write plenty of comments. But I think, as I said, I think anybody who knows anything about the sport would have watched that, and I don't think they could be having a go at Craig Williams about that ride.
Can I just throw in a point on that? And I think, look, at the end of the day, racing is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Big prize money races, lots of eyeballs on it. You want people to have an investment, both financially, because you want people betting on the races, you want people going to the track, you want them supporting it. It is no different to any other sporting event. When things go well, people are going to have an opinion. When things don't go well, people are going to have an opinion. I think we've got to sort of stop this view that, yes, there is a broader issue across the board with social media and how people can behave and make things very, very personal. I'm not disputing that. But I've got no issue with people having an opinion or wanting to question a ride or question the outcome of a race, of a sporting event. That's what makes you passionate about it. You want people doing that. So I don't believe in this whole scenario where we should not be questioning performances of some horses and some rides, because quite often, I watched the Cheltenham Festival last week over in the UK, there were some absolutely shocking rides in some of the biggest races. But it's part of the game, and I think the more you got people talking and challenging and questioning and wanting to learn, it is actually the best thing it can be for the sport. But just take the personal aspect out of it.
It's engagement, isn't it? Hey, let's talk about the Coolmore Classics. Who gotcha? Both of you boys all over it last week. You're all over Pride of Jenny too, Ads. You had a good weekend last weekend, mate. Really good win. And for the first time, I think in our Group 1's a favourite saluted in Sydney. A lot of talk about the track up there and the conditions and all that stuff during the week too. Fair bit going on, Ads.
Yeah, it was. I thought the value at Samana was going to pip on the line, but Zoo Gotcha just getting the head down and got that really nice run again. When we looked at the form and the speed in the race, it just looked like they were going to get that ideal run. Really good ride to push out, get to the open. And I mentioned going into it that this is not a horse that I normally tip or that I follow, but just looks to come back a different animal. So impressive so far, these two runs, this preparation. I know only just got there, but I like the way that it's winning and the style that it's doing it.
Shane?
Yeah, she's a good mare, good race. And well done to you, Adam, in finding both of the Group 1s last weekend. Good to see you've got your eye in. But I will say, look, she's a really, really good horse, Sugotcha. Probably the right winner. Did it well, top weight, such a class to that race, and she's progressing really well. You also talked about, Matty, just a lot of the discussion around the track in Sydney. I think that's always an issue when it comes to the autumn carnival. There's always conversations about the tracks in Sydney, because Sydney can often get very, very wet at this time of year. And also we've got this whole philosophy where tracks are being watered on to levels which I know prominent racing identities like Robbie Waterhouse called out in some social media commentary in the last week or so. It's a huge challenge. And it's one of the concerns I've got as we look towards Rosehill for the big card of racing this weekend. How will the track play? What will we be served up, and will we be able to bet with confidence going into the big meeting? But it just seems to be a consistent cycle of commentary around the Sydney Autumn Carnival. The weather plus the watering of the tracks, I should say. It's frustrating for a lot of people, whether you're a punter, whether you're a participant, and I'm not sure what the solution is.
Currently sitting at a soft 7, and there is a little bit of rain around possibly. So, going to be very, very interesting. Let's talk about those feature races this weekend. And we're going to start off with the big one, the Golden Slipper, over the 1,200 metres, 4:15 p.m. And really interesting market here. Storm Boy, all thanks to Palmerbet. It is our favourite at $2.10. Switzerland at $4.50. Lady of Camelot at $10. Straight Charge $11. Espionage the Emergency at $17. Hayasugi, the Blue Diamond winner, at $18. Fully Lit at $25. And Shangri-La Express at $34. Is this a race in 2, Adam McGrath? Or are you thinking something there might be a little blowout possibility here?
The one thing I'll never do in 2-year-olds is limit to 2 horses. I think the market's probably right, but I think 2-year-old races are always incredibly open. So I do have Storm Boy as the horse to beat. It's my best bet in the race. The Waterhouse and Bott stable just continue to produce 2-year-old after 2-year-old after 2-year-old the last sort of 2-3 seasons. They're in such good form. 4 from 4, so obviously got a great record. And what you just talked about, I've sort of done the form looking at horses that can handle a soft track and a good track in case it dries out, because there is some expected for the rest of the week. This horse is 1 on a good 4, 1 on a soft 6, So you get your positives there. Up on speed with a good draw. I think it just gets a gun run and it'll be very hard to beat. Something is going to have to really jump out of its skin late to beat Storm Boy. My value bet, I know we've got the Sydney versus Melbourne. I thought Hayasugi was at a big price. I know it's drawn barrier 16, so that's less than ideal, but we've seen this horse get back. We've seen it be 4 wide. We've seen it be a tough winner on a day where it was very hard to make up ground. So for mine, it's very hard to knock what she's done so far. This preparation undefeated. I think with the speed in the race that we do normally see in the Golden Slipper, and they do normally go pretty quick, I think she'll get a really nice card up into the race and can run another big one at a big price. And Jamie Carr can continue her Group 1 form.
Shano?
Yeah, great summation there, Adam. Look, I love the Slipper every year. It's one of my favourite races on the calendar. It is amazing to see Gay Waterhouse and Adrian Bott with so many runners. They've got, 6 of the final field as acceptances, plus the emergency in the race. Gay's won 7 slippers, one in partnership with Adrian Bott. It's all systems go, and all of those wins have been since 2001. A remarkable achievement, a remarkable strength. Storm Boy looks the benchmark of the 2-year-olds, drawn to get every conceivable hope in the run, provided we get fair racing. Ryan Moore, who won the Slipper last year, he's flying in to take the ride on Storm Boy, and I think he is clearly the one to beat. He is the best bet in the race. His Magic Millions win was outstanding. He was dominant again in the Skyline on March 2. It's funny, that was the profile that Gay used with Dance Hero back in 2004, who was, I think he was the first of the Magic Millions winners to go on and win a slipper, and there's only been 2 others feeling ready and capitalised. So it's a proven sort of form structure for Gay.
Yep.
He's got great natural pace. Barrier 2, he leads or box seats, and I think he's clearly the one to beat. So at $2.10, yeah, he's short, but deservedly so. The value runners for me, I found 2. I've got Shangri-La Express at $34 and also Prost at $41. Quick summation of both. I think Shangri-La Express has been a noticeable market drifter in his 2 runs so far this campaign, which suggests that he was needing the runs. He was progressing, and I thought he was actually quite good in both of those races. He was on speed when beat by Snitzerland in the Pierrot Plate, then very good behind that colt when trying to finish off in the Todman last start. He can lead or take a sit. He's drawn barrier 3 next to Storm Boy, and I'm expecting Regan Bayliss to have him in the right spot at the right time to try and present. And I was hugely taken by Prost's performance when chasing home Switzerland last start in the lead-up race. He was when he was chasing home Storm Boy in the Skyline, I should say, with Prost. He was sort of began well, snagged back, finished the race off really, really strongly. And he's the one that I think from a slightly whitish barrier, and I think most of the pace is sort of barrier 9 in, he could get a nice suck run behind them and presented late in the race to finish off strongly. So Storm Boy, the best for the Slipper. The value bets, I'm having something on both Shangri-La Express and Prost each way at big, big prices. But yeah, can't wait for the race.
Yeah, you're not going to believe it. 3 out of 3. I'm with Storm Boy as well. I was on at the Magic Millions and blamed him that day, and hasn't put a foot wrong for mine. And Ads, you're going to like this. I'm with Hayasugi, the Victorian Raider too. This horse has done nothing wrong, and it's a ridiculous price. Got a powerful finish, and Jamie Carr's in great nick. It'll be a great story, and it's just got that kind of smell about it for mine that something. There might be a little boil over. Be a good story for Clint McDonald as well. So we are very similar there. Let's move along and go back to Victoria here. William Reid Stakes, of course, Moody Valley. Race 8 over the 1,200 metres on Saturday. The market here, Imperatrice at $1.75, Cylinder $4.20, Balladipatina at $7.50, King's Gambit, another dual nomination, $11, I Am Me $13, Q-Man at $15, Hypothetical $26, and the Astrologist, what a grand old horse he's been at $41. Shane Anderson, I'm starting with you. I must admit, around the corner, back to the valley, I reckon Imperatrice just gets the job done.
Yeah, she's a worthy favourite. Terrific in the Newmarket last start. She's back to arguably her favourite hunting ground at the Valley. She won the race last year. And, yeah, she's the one to beat. I've got her as the best. I don't mind her being drawn out. There looks to be a fair bit of speed in the race. I think she's either winning or just being touched off. So I've got her as my best in the race, Imperatrice. The value, Cylinder, the Newmarket winner, drawn barrier 1. New jockey Bo Mertens takes a ride. But he's a pretty straightforward colt. I think he's got enough speed to hold a position. He doesn't need to be drifting back. And I think he's, to me, the logical threat. One of the 2 should win. But I've got the best Imperatrice, the value, Cylinder.
Ads?
Yeah, I can't go past Imperatrice here either. Gets a 6 kilo swing on cylinder and was pretty game that last time. As you said, Matty, much better horse at the Valley, much better horse over the 1200 with that turn there. So for mine, Imperatrice probably the best bet of the weekend if we're looking at these Group 1 races. I thought the value bet has to be I Am Me. I thought it'd get a really nice run. Drawn barrier 2, Benny Mellum takes a ride. Winner of 9 from 18, and when first up has had 4 starts for 3 wins and a third. And it's only run at Moonee Valley. It finished second in the Manicato to Imperatrice, and I thought it was a standout performance that night. So I think I Am Me can come back, run a really good race fresh, and maybe scare Imperatrice for a little bit, but I think the class will show very late.
Not even worrying about a value bet for mine, boys. Imperatrice just gets a job done back at the Valley on Saturday. Let's go back up to Sydney, George Ryder Stakes, race number 8 over the 1,500 metres. Think about it. It is our favourite at $3.80, all thanks to Palmer Bet. Militarised. Where and which way is this horse going to go at $4.60? End cap at $8. Lady Laguna, good winner last start at $9.50. V8 drops from the 16 back to the 1,500 at $9.50. Kovalika at $16, Amenable at $17, and New Energy at $18. Ads, I'm going to come back to you because this market, if Militarised doesn't go around, changes significantly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It makes it very difficult. This is a race out of all of them for the weekend. I've just gone with a little bit more value. Both my runners are probably value runners, and I'll be having bets on both rather than being a best bet. But I'll start with NCAP as being my better one of the two here. Drawn in barrier 2, and Blake Shin takes a ride. Just thought where the favourites are drawn in pretty bad barriers, this horse is going to be able to use that gate, be a little bit closer than normal. Was only beaten 0.16 by Militarised in the Golden Rose. Had no luck behind Celestial Legend in the last 2 runs. So I think handling all conditions, can get through the wet as well with that positive barrier draw. I just think it's a really nice price for a race, as I said, where there is the unknowns with Militarised and some of the favourites being out wide. And my other one's going to be Lady Laguna. I think we have to put it in. Drawn barrier 12, Tyler Schiller takes a ride. The last 12 runs, this horse has had 5 wins, 3 seconds, and 4 thirds. Hasn't finished outside the top 3 in its last 12. So I thought that was definitely something to take a look at. It's obviously won 4 of its last 5, and its only defeat was to Zoo Gotcha, and that form's been franked as well. So when you take it just by facts, figures, and stats, Lady Laguna is absolutely airborne. I think it beat Think About It fair and square last time as well. So I like it as a value play in the race, and this will be the one that I do target that little bit of value with both runners.
What do you reckon, Shano?
Yeah, I think About Its price is a little bit spilly for mine. I would like to see a longer price for him than what he currently is posted based off that first up run. I'm siding with the 3-year-olds, and just a caveat, Militarised, I love him. I think if he goes to the George Ryder, he's the colt to beat. If he goes to the Rosehill Guineas, he's the colt to beat. So I'm going to be mentioning him twice. But I've got him and V8 as my best in the George Ryder. I just love high-class 3-year-olds going into this race. Both narrowly defeated in their Guineas lead-up runs. Militarised probably went a little bit too soon. He was left a sitting shot, just narrowly touched off. And similar with V8, he had to do a little bit of work and was run over late in the piece. I think one of the two can win this race. And my value bet, I think Pericles, I've said this a few times in our chats over the Carnivals so far, I think the Godolphin 4-year-old's actually going exceptionally well. Probably the Doncaster, his main target. He's drawn out. He's got tactical versatility. $19, $20. I think that's massive overs for him. But Militarised V8 are the ones I'm most keen about. I just wish I knew which way Militarised was going.
Yeah, which way would you boys go? Simple question. Where would you head? George Ryder or the Guineas?
Yeah, I'd go George Ryder with him.
Ads?
Yeah, I think the George Ryder is a better option for Militarised as well.
Going to be interesting to see where the horse lobs. I was actually thinking they might go the other way, but look, it's going to be very interesting. For what it's worth, I'll be sticking with Think About It, and I'm with you, V8. I reckon it is certainly the value runner of the race. So I reckon, I just don't know about a strong 1,600, but I reckon a 1,500. I know that sounds silly. It's only 100 metres more. It looks like this V8. I reckon looks like smokes into the race, cruising, and then I just reckon just that little bit extra pressure and distance. I just reckon might just be the tester, but. I reckon at some point it's going to look the winner at some stage. I reckon V8. Righto, let's move along now to the Randwick Stakes over the 2,000 metres. And the favourite here, Think It Over at $2.80. Via Sistina at $3.60. Buckaroo at $4.40. Riff Rocket, another dual nom, $5.50. Place to Carousel at $9, Military Mission at 18, Bostiagen at 71, and Zarek at $126. Shane Anderson, I'm going to start with you for the Ranford over the 2,000 metres.
Just want to touch on, just briefly, Via Sestina and Place to Carousel, two outstanding high-class European mares, both in the market for this race. My view is watch and learn. I have a set against older mares, changing hemispheres and changing stables. History shows, even though they're high-quality animals, it doesn't always go the way you would just assume. Mares can often be a little bit fickle.
Good with the history too, Ads, isn't he? There's none better in the history books than this man, Shane Anderson.
And then just add in the European flavour. You know he's the number one man for that as well. So you got to listen here.
No, but thank you both. I appreciate the nice little pat on the back. Probably sideswipe saying I'm old because I've seen most of these things happen over many years. No, the thing is, when Via Sestina is well in the market, rivaling favouritism, she's got the ability to win. She's got the form line to win the race. I've seen it happen time and time again with these mares. It quite often goes backwards. And that's why when you see a horse like Black Caviar go to the other side of the world and win a Group 1, or you see what happened with Very Elegant, an older mare going overseas and things didn't kind of pan out. It happens time and time again. So just the way they are, it wouldn't surprise me if either of them won. I just can't back either of them. I'm very keen on Think It Over. Drawn well, in form, ticks the boxes, distance, range. He's a proven elite level horse and he's on song for a defence of the QE2 title. So I think It Over's the best. I'm putting my value runner in Buckaroo. I liked him in the Very Elegant, but they scratched. He's had a subsequent trial. He looked on song there. This is his right distance range. So they're the two I'm backing. Think It Over is my best. Buckaroo is the value.
Ads?
Yeah, look, again, the double nom's going to hurt me this way because I actually like Riff Rocket in both races, how Shane likes militarised in both races. So if Riff Rocket goes this way, it's my best bet. Barrier 1, Karen McAvoy. If it's rain, it's no issues. If it's dry, it's no issues. Well, the first two runs have been good. Gets a soft run from Barrier 1, drops to the 54.5, goes up the extra 400 metres. If it's not in the race, then I'd probably back Via Sestina here. And Shane, really like your comments there. My alarm bells were going off when I was doing this race, and I've just forgotten the horse's name. But last preparation, we were doing the same thing. A mare that was bought, had a couple of excuses. You and I tipped it a couple of times as well. It's
alcohol-free.
Alcohol-free, and that's probably the perfect example. A horse, see, our man, Matty.
Unbelievable, mate. Everything just up here, buddy.
Exactly right. So that was it. That was my alarm bell going off in my head, just thinking, we have seen this as well. So I think it's a really good point. But Riff Rocket, if it runs, best bet. I'll back Via Sestina if it doesn't. But my value bet, I've also got Buckaroo there. Ryan Moore taking the ride. Thought it was a really good run in the Apollo. Good record, second up, 2 wins from 4 starts, and I like it out to the 2,000 metres, especially with the smaller field. I think that's a really good note. Can just be nice and close and does have a really good turn of foot. So Buckaroo will be the value bet.
Yeah, I'm just thinking over, boys. Nothing else for me. I reckon this horse loves racing at Rose Hill and did win third up last preparation impressively. And I just reckon third up on the weekend. I reckon cherry ripe for it. And I think we'll get the job done. Let's move along now to the next of our feature races, which is the Galaxy. This at Rose Hill over the 1,100 metres. And this is going to be at 4:35 p.m. And a cracking race, this one for mine. Plenty of interest in Osmosis resuming here at $4.20. Af Cabin, $5.50. Private Eye at $9. Sunshine in Paris, $9. Uncommon James at $10. Passive Aggressive at $13. King's Gambit, another one, of course, nommed in Melbourne, $13. And King of Sparta at $19. Of course, Osmosis coming off the back of that Coolmore win over the Carnival in Melbourne. I've got a couple of local mates that got a little share in Osmosis, and they're absolutely cock-a-hoop, and they're up and about. Don't worry about that. But what a ride they've had so far. Ads, I'll come back to you, mate. Always an interesting race, when you get some of these younger horses taking on the older ones. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know what Shane made of it. I thought this was a really difficult race. I sort of went between After Cabin, Uncommon James, Aspura, and Osmosis, and changed my mind 5, 6, 7 times. I kept doing the race, and I'm still not happy with what I've decided on, to be honest. I've elected to go best bet as After Cabin. Look, J-Matt taking the ride. I thought it probably should have won first up when you go back and take a look. And since it's fourth in the Guineas over the mile, it's come first in the Group 2 Arrowfield, then fourth in the Dooma 10,000, was only beaten a length and a half by Giga Kick. No luck in the Stradbroke, no luck in the Challenge. So I think the horse is actually going a lot better than it reads on paper. It is a horse that is going to need luck but you've got J-Mac, you've got barrier 8, so I think they can tuck behind and get out and attack the line strongly. My value bet I have decided on Uncommon James, and mainly because of the barrier here. I think from barrier 1 with Damien Lane in the saddle, this horse is just going to be trucking behind them and just looking for a way out. And I think the short sprint will really suit it. Great first up record, never finished worse than third, winner on all conditions, and the distance is ideal. 5 starts, 2 wins, 3 seconds. It gets the run of the race, in my opinion, and probably the biggest danger around that 10-1 quote.
Shano?
Yeah, agree with Adam's summation, and it's a very, very tough race. I love these big field sprint races, handicap sprint races. They're some of my favourite betting opportunities. I think Sunshine in Paris is overs, fresh, drawn well. I expect her to be just trailing in behind the speed. She's an outstanding mare. She's got really, really strong form lines around her. Great record, fresh. 1,100 metres, a bit of a question mark for me. I think if it was 1,200 metres, I'd be super, super confident. But I'm happy to have her as my best coming into this race. She's had 2 soft trials, and I think she's going to be ready to go and produce something well. So Sunshine in Paris is my best at the each way, and the value bet is Uncommon James. Again, from the inside barrier, proven in this type of race in an Oakley plate. Great chance. I was surprised to see him at the odds that he is. I thought he'd be a little bit shorter than that. So they're the 2 I'm most keen on.
Yeah, Af Cabin for mine. I'm with you for exactly what you said there, Ads, and a couple of good judges during the week we're on earlier. I think it opened up at $8. You could have got for this horse into that $5.50 mark at the moment. So if you shopped early, you got a price. And I must admit, I was going elsewhere, but I've actually swung here. So I'm going as Fura as my value, the Victorian Rate. I love this horse. I worked locally when this horse debuted and won sensationally well. And I remember talking to Henry Dwyer at the time and always had a big opinion. I just don't reckon had a lot go right first 2 runs his prep. And I know he's got a tricky gate, barrier 17, but I reckon Asfura is a very, very good horse, a smart horse, and I reckon might give it a little shake at a big price. And it's one of those races for mine. Righto, let's move along. Rose Hill Guineas over the 2,000 metres. Same thing. We don't really know what the field's going to finally look like, but Militarise is our current favourite, all thanks to Palmerbit at $3. Tommy Kitten at $3.70. Riff Rocket, another one, $4.80. Immediacy at $8.50. King Colorado at $10. Gambare at $16. Cafe Millennium at $19. And CO Wolf at $19 as well. Shane Anderson, let's go back to you, mate. Tricky. We don't know where they're going to lob. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, militarised caveat. Whichever way he goes, whether it's the George Rider or the Rosehill Guineas, I think he's the one to beat in both of those races. So I've got him as my equal best, but I'm hoping Riff Rocket goes here. And to be honest, I hope militarised goes to the George Rider. I think one of the 2 Waller runners should win. Riff Rocket, very good in the Australian Guineas, ready for 2,000 metres now. And yeah, as I said, one of the 2 should win. Outside of those, Cafe Millennium, I was taken by his performance in the Randwick Guineas, went 3rd. That was off the back of a good run in the Hobartville when covering ground. John O'Shea knows how to win the Rosehill Guineas, and there's just something about this 3-year-old that suggests he's just getting better with each and every run. So I think he's dangerous at a big price, Cafe Millennium, as an each-way option. But yeah, it should be a Waller win in the Guineas with either Militarise or Riff Rocket.
So hard, is it? These markets are going to change so much, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's going to be a big.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah. Which summarised perfectly, I think.
Well, all credit to Connections. They're entitled to do what they're doing because it's the rules. But it's a stupid rule. You should not be having double acceptances when it comes to Group 1 races. It just makes no sense at all.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Ads, which way are you going, buddy?
I'm with Riff Rocket both races, depending which way it goes. I hope Militarise goes the other way, and then Riff Rocket goes this race. That's my thought process. Exactly right. So, yeah, I've got very similar thinking to Shane there. So, for the exact same reasons I said in the Rambit, I think Riff Rocket's the one to beat in this race. If it doesn't go here, I'm going to back Tom Kitten, fastest 4-2 and 2 to finish in the Randwick Guineas. I think he gets a nice run. And my value bet is Cafe Millennium as well, as Shane said. Look, only got the 1 win over 1,100 metres, but no luck at all in the Hobartville. Then very impressive in the Randwick Guineas. Ran the second fastest 10-8, 8-6, third fastest 6-4, 4-2, and then back to the second fastest for the last 200 metres. I thought ticked a lot of boxes and should get a really nice run behind them. So I think it's way over the odds as well.
Yeah, Riff Rocket. So that's three-way again here, boys. Riff Rocket. We're all with the Riff Rocket, and we don't even know whether he's going that way. So very, very interesting stuff. I'm with King Colorado, a bit of value. Blinkers went on last start. I just don't think he had a lot of luck. It's got a bit of ability, this horse, and at $10, I reckon is a very, very nice price. What else? What other best bets have we got right out over the weekend? I'll come back to you, Ads. What are your thoughts, buddy?
2 at Ascot, race 6, number 7, Wild Bell. This would be my best bet of the weekend. They are trying to get a quokka slot, so they need to be winning this race. Clint Johnson Porter was booked for it. Chris Parnham takes a ride since Clint already has a ride in the quokka, so I think it shows that they believe they're going to get there. So this has to be a winning stepping stone. And then race 8, number 8, Red 53, was held up really bad at Bunbury the other day. No fault of Chris Parnham at all. Gets a better draw here, and I think will be way too good for him. So race 6, number 7, race 8, number 8.
Love it, mate. Shano?
Nice ones there, Adam. Just works in perfectly too when my alarm will be going off.
Little double.
I'm playing the Valley, Matty. Tangerine Colours with Imperatriz might be joined by wins by Campionessa in the Sunline Stakes, and also Quintessa in the Alistair Clark. The Tiaco Racing Group have got an outstanding lineup of mares, and I think both of them are going to be very, very tough to beat. Campionessa was terrific in the Peter Young in her first Australian run. I think this is an easy race. The Sunline, I think she's got the edge on them class-wise, and she should win. And Quintessa, her run in the Australian Guineas, I thought was very, very strong. The rise to, they're taking on the boys now in the Alistair Clark, I don't think will be an issue again for her. And I think she's the one to beat. So I'm pretty confident about both of those. And if you like Tiaco Racing's big 3 at the Valley, you may as well look at ways of coupling them all up. It could be a big day for the stable.
Leachway parlay or something might be the way to go. Anything rough, boys? Anything out wide, you thinking? Bit of value?
For me, I think the roughie that I'm most keen on, I think Cafe Millennium could run a very, very big race. So that sort of $19 mark, I think you said earlier, Matty, really appeals to me as an each way value bet in the Rose Hill Guineas. I think he's one to watch.
Yeah, I think the same. I'm with that as my roughie and Hayasuki as well. I think both of those give you a little bit of value.
Absolutely, $18, Hayasugi. It's unbelievable. I'm going Rose Hill, sticking to Rose Hill. Race 4, number 6, a horse called Swartz. John O'Shea. I reckon this horse got some ability. It's about $3.60 at the moment, and I reckon they're going to be very, very hard to beat. And hopefully we can get a little bit of a bank early. And then out wide, I'm going Chain of Lightning, race 10, number 1. Kind of a forgotten horse, this horse for mine, and at $23. Why wouldn't you have a little dabble? Goes up there, and I think actually prefers racing that way, the Sydney way. So we'll just watch this space, but I reckon a silly price for mine. That is our best bets. That is the Group 1s over the weekend. Download the Palmer Bet app. Get involved. It's a really easy app to get through. And as we always say, gamble responsibly and always think about what you're really gambling with. Shano, Ads, it's always a pleasure. What time in Copenhagen, mate?
Right now, as we're recording, it's just on 7:30 in the morning. So it's been a nice, sophisticated, casual start to the day, Matty.
Little sleep in for you and Ads. Vegas never sleeps, mate. And I don't think you do either very much. But what time is it over there, big fella?
11:40 p.m. Been a long day, Shano.
I love it. I look forward to catching up with you boys next week. Wonderful weekend of racing. Get involved, and we look forward to hopefully tipping some winners.
Thanks, gents. Enjoy the weekend.
Take care, guys.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.